You can find a video about just about anything on YouTube. Makeup tutorials, cooking shows, pranks, fails, questionable diatribes on any number of topics. The list goes on and on. One couple is hoping their channel will help change lives.
I was like, you know what? Well, let's do something meaningful where people that are going through this journey can see that, we're still smiling. We are going through something emotionally with this, but we are still living our life.
That's Cassie Motley, living donor candidate. She's joined by her husband and kidney transplant candidate, Glenn. I'm Sarah Jane Castro, Senior Director of Marketing and Communications for the National Kidney Foundation of Illinois, and your host for this edition of The Journey Continues. Glenn, how did you find out that your kidneys were failing?
I was in the hospital, actually. I had to have a heart valve replaced. And the strange thing about it, I never had a bad heart. Wasn't taking care of my teeth, and I got an infection in my mouth, and it went down to my heart and messed my valve up. The infection, was set in me for a long time, so, affected my kidney. But I was fine. My heart valve messed up. I had to go back in. They had the chance to do another one. And when they did the other one, the infection was that was too bad. So I ended up getting on dialysis.
Wow, so a tooth infection led you to find out that your kidneys were failing. That's incredible. What was life like before all of these health issues came up?
I was pretty cool. I mean, it wasn't bad. I could travel like I want to, do a lot of things that I don't do now. So the main thing is traveling. I still try to keep my life the same. I don't let this kidney stuff or this dialysis stuff weaken me. I try to, just keep living my life.
Yeah, how has dialysis and kidney failure affected your life?
It has its ups and downs. Sometimes I do be a little tired or drained after treatment. Like I had treatment today and I'm fine. But some days I don't. Some days I just want to sit back on my couch and go to sleep, just don't want to do nothing, because I'm kind of weak. But I feel like it's starting to take a little toll on me after doing it so long. Be having me more drained than I used to be, and my energy level ain't what it used to be. But yeah, it has good and bad days.
Did you share with your family what was going on? Your brothers and sisters? I mean, obviously, your wife would probably know what was going on, but what about the rest of your family?
Actually, I just this year told my family. Cause the way I think, like when you tell people you're on dialysis, they act like your life is over.
Mhm.
And I didn't want a pity party. I want people to treat me like me, I'm okay. And then like one of my aunts I told, she was like, it's hard to believe you're on dialysis because you still function the same. You do everything the same. She was like, I couldn't tell unless you told me, and that's how I wanted to be. And so that's why I didn't tell them. And, they was kind of like, wow, they was in shock. My brother, especially my brothers and sisters. My sister wanted to donate me a kidney. All of them. They was like, hey, what can we do? What can we do? Everybody. I just didn't want that on me, in case something go wrong in surgery or something. I feel like that's on me. They got kids to live for and all this and stuff. So I just didn't want to bother them with a burden. They was glad I told them. But they don't treat me no different though. Everything is still the same with us. We hang out. Like I was just at my nephew football game last weekend. We meet up sometime, we go out. I don't drink, so we go out to eat and stuff like that. Yeah, we still have our fun.
So, how did that feel when your sister said she would volunteer her kidney? How did that feel to hear that level of support from her?
Like I say, it was very emotional. It was weird. Like I was in shock. And at the same time, I really didn't want her to do it, because like I say, I don't want that burden on me if something go wrong. I hope nothing would go wrong. Like I was happy and shocked. It was like, wow,
Mhm.
I could be done with dialysis soon, because that's the goal. Like I don't wish this stuff on nobody.
And how did that go for her when she went to get tested to be your donor?
So she did all the steps, but they saw that if she was to give me a kidney, she would become a diabetic.
Ah,
And so they was like, they didn't want to risk that. It was more of a risk for her than me at that point. So they
right.
was like, nah. And I didn't want her to do it anyway once I heard, being diabetic.
How did that feel then to learn that your living donor wasn't going to be able to donate?
It was pretty sad because, like I said, you get your hopes up. You ready to go. You ready to have surgery the next day if you could. But I just had to take it, like a grain of salt. I just had to deal with it and just keep pushing, man. I try not to let the stuff get to me and get me down. You can't get happy about nothing you never had.
Just got to keep moving forward. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Well, Cassie, I want to talk to you for a minute. How did it feel to watch your husband go through all of this, to see like the progression from tooth infection to kidney failure to dialysis to needing a kidney? How did that feel to witness?
It was a lot because when we first got married, he was fine. He had just had his first mitral valve procedure. And shortly after, maybe like a couple months in, he ended up having the procedure again. So just seeing him go through that and to now is, he's very strong and I'm strong too. So it's like he can be sick or not feeling well. And it's like you can't tell. So it's like we have an amazing strength that, keeps us afloat and going, our trust in God. Just seeing him go through this stuff is like sometimes I can't even tell that he's sick. That's just how strong he is.
How did it feel for you when your sister-in-law said, I'm going to get worked up, I'm going to donate my kidney?
Oh, I was happy. I was very much overjoyed because, again, I thought he told them and I got on him because nobody, I'm like, are you kidding me? I'm like, you didn't tell anyone? And when his sister volunteered, it was amazing to hear that she was willing to go through this process. But when we found out she was unable to be a donor, it was heartbreaking. And it was heartbreaking for her too. She was devastated.
Yeah, I'm sure. You think you're going to be able to give your brother this wonderful gift, and then you learn it could be detrimental to your own health if you do. I'm sure that must have been really disappointing.
Yes.
So then you go on to get tested. Did you tell Glenn that you were getting worked up to be his donor?
At first, I didn't. I was trying to make it a surprise, and then I couldn't hold it. I couldn't hold it from him. And so I ended up telling him, and he told me no at first and that he didn't want me to do it. And as a wife, it's for better or for worse, for sickness and in health. And you're conflicted, like, should I do it? Should I not do it? And so I went on ahead and did, and I went through multiple tests. And it wasn't, easy to go through those tests because I didn't know it was that many tests. And so but going through the process, it is something because you are giving a part of yourself to someone, and that is, your spouse.
So tell us more about that testing process. What was that like?
Well, they started off with the blood test to determine if we are a blood match. Once they found out if we were a blood match, I was going to also have to see if my tissues match. My tissue has to match his tissue. And then there were other testings such as a CAT scan, which I didn't get a chance to get the CAT scan done, but there is a CAT scan, a T, there is a chest x-ray, a EKG. You have to have the GFR test, which is a 4-hour test on your kidneys to see if your kidney function is strong enough to only have one kidney. You also have to have cancer screening testing, such as a mammogram. So I had to have my first mammogram this year. I had just turned 40, well, at that time. So I had my first mammogram. You have to have a pap smear. You have to have a colonoscopy if you're over 45. And thank God I'm not over 45. So those were some testings that needed to be done.
Wow, so it's really thorough testing to make sure your health isn't going to be negatively affected if you donate.
Yes.
So how did that feel when you found out you were Glenn's perfect match? In more ways than one, of course.
It was a surreal moment because I had my own health issue and I was scared at first to go through this process with him because I had a stroke back in 2020. And
Wow.
so I was, scared and nervous, and I didn't want to put myself in a position. And he didn't want me to do it either. And so I felt well enough. And I said, well, let's just test and see if, I would qualify. And so that's where we kind of like we're at with it right now.
So, have they determined that you are able to indeed donate, or will some of those health challenges maybe stand in the way?
Now, the thing is, once they did the GFR testing on me, they said that my kidney function wouldn't be strong enough to only for me to have only one kidney. So I have to like basically build myself up some more, but that's like the only thing that's holding me back. Everything else is just a go and fine. That was devastating to hear as well, that now my function was at a certain percentage that wouldn't be enough to give him my kidney. But the fact that our blood type matches, our kidney tissue matches. So we're just still hopeful that, through time, that if it is my kidney, that he will get it, or if we will get the call.
Yeah, there's always that chance too. What are some of the things they suggested for you to help improve your existing kidney function?
Weight loss, which
Okay.
is the ultimate plan for any woman, weight loss, and just making sure I have a balanced, healthy diet. That was pretty much about it. Because they say my weight versus my kidney function is what they were looking at. And I'm
Okay.
not like, extremely huge or anything, but but it's like I'm like, okay, I just need to lose a couple pounds. But we're gonna see. I'm working on it right now. I'm in the gym and balancing my diet now. So we'll give it another go to see if he hasn't gotten the call by then.
How long has this process taken from you first calling his transplant center to today?
It was a couple months because I'm working full time. So during that time to take off work, because a lot of those tests require you to take off work, they're in the middle of the day and they don't have after hours or weekends. So the process from when I called was like about, I think, April, May, June, maybe like 3 months.
That's really something to consider when you're thinking about becoming a living donor is the time. Like, you've got to consider the time off of work. If you have young children, childcare, transportation, all of those kind of things come into play. So it's really a serious thing to enter into. It's a big commitment for sure, even just getting tested, much less the donation part.
Yes.
Glenn, what was that like for you to learn that Cassie was a match blood wise, kidney wise, and that she was willing to do this for you?
I was shocked more than anything, and happy, but at the same time scared. Like I say, because this is my wife, this is my best friend, this is my partner. And I just couldn't live with myself if something would have happened to my wife while she trying to give me a kidney. So it was kind of like, that's why I was like, I really didn't want her to do it, but she wanted to do it. And I was like, okay, we could try. But if any red flags come up, it's over with. You like, no, we're not going to go through it. I just have to wait for the call. I just wait. I've been waiting like 3.5 years now. So I just got on the list. So just got to wait it out.
What did it take for you to get listed? What kind of steps did you have to take to be on that list?
By me having my heart surgery, I had to go through tests with that. I had to get put to sleep. They had to put a tube down my throat to check my heart to make sure my heart is fine. I had to do all kind of blood work, EKGs, all kind of stuff. But it was like spaced out. And then after a while, you gotta go redo blood again, because they want to stay on top of it. But they do blood like once a month now. The kidney people, they request it once a month from my dialysis center.
So it's pretty thorough testing for being listed as well, it sounds like.
Yeah, and then like the time of being enlisted, I had personal stuff going on, so it was like I was missing appointments and stuff and all that because my little brother had got killed, and then a year later, my mama died.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
The kidney thing, that's why it's so big to me. That's why I took it even more serious because me and my mom was on dialysis.
Oh,
So we talked a lot about getting this kidney, getting on this list. That was our goal. And about her being gone, I feel like I got to do it. It got to happen for me, because I just want to do it for her more than me, honestly. But the people that I'm dealing with at the hospital, the kidney team, they're great. It's a lady, Ariel. She's real great. She stayed on top of stuff for me and everything. And like I had to end my career because of the kidney thing, because I was a truck driver. And for some reason, they don't let you be a truck driver and be on dialysis. That was a hurtful thing, not to be doing something I was loved doing. I just like right now, it's like I'm not working now and everything, but like I say, my hope is to get back in the truck, just get my life back going again.
Yeah, it's definitely a big hiccup, to put it mildly, to have your career, your life interrupted by these treatments that are prolonging your life, keeping you safe and healthy, but are interrupting the day to day stuff that you love doing. That's got to be kind of tough.
Yeah, it is. I ain't gonna lie to you, it is.
Cassie, you've documented this whole journey on your YouTube channel. Why was it so important to you to record this process in such detail?
Well, I'm always recording something. And when he was going through this process, at first I asked him for his permission because this is a lot of his personal information, his health or whatnot. I said, well, let's just do this journey of you getting a transplant. And I didn't know it was going to be this long in years, but I was glad that I still had the footage and I just started putting it together like about 2 years later. And I
Hmm.
said, you know what, let me just go ahead and start making this documentary that we're working on. And it just turned out great. And then with technology, and I just was playing around with a lot of editing tools, and it just turned out great for us. I'm used to doing home videos or videos with the family, and I was like, you know what? Let's do something meaningful where people that are going through this journey can see that, we're still smiling. We're not sad. We are going through something emotionally with this, but we are still living our life. We are still pressing forward, we're persevering through this. And I was just so happy that I was able to document as much as I can. It looks great, and I'm just glad that he wanted it. He wanted it to be documented.
I've watched your videos and you guys are just enjoying life. You're living life. You like took your son on a college visit and you're showing your day to day, like we're hanging out with his sister. It's not just all medical facts and figures. You're showing the picture of like what it looks like to truly live with kidney failure and go through this process day to day. It's really encouraging, and I know other people will find it helpful.
Yes.
So, what's the next step for this journey?
Well, we're waiting on that call. And I can't wait because I want to document that day we get the call. Whether we're sleeping or he's on a whole nother part of town, the camera is going to be rolling because we want people to even know what it's like to have that feeling. Because some people don't get a chance to get that call. And some people is just wanting to see what is it like to get that call, that it's time to start a new life. And so I can't wait till that day comes. And I'm excited. He's excited. I had already told my boss, I said, hey, I don't know what day it's going to be, but be prepared that I'm not coming in for a while.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's a huge deal. And that will be such an exciting day when that call comes in. Glenn, I know you want to get back in your truck. What other goals do you have for after your transplant?
To travel. My wife never been on a plane, and I want to be the one to put her on the plane and take her places, and because I told her once she get it over with, she gonna be telling me she going out of town without me sometime. So I
Right.
just want to experience life, not just not only know this. I want her to experience the stuff I used to experience before I got sick. Our kids are grown now, basically, so it's time for us to spread our wings, and get on out. And me, I'm into old school cars. And I be wanting to go to car shows out of town, but I refuse to go because I want to enjoy myself. I don't want to have to lead a show and have to go sit on a machine for 4 hours. So that's my reason of not going nowhere too. Because when I go, so I want to have fun, enjoy myself, not worry about having to go to dialysis.
Yeah, that'll be very freeing. And I'll be keeping my fingers crossed that y'all are going to get on that plane and go on a fabulous vacation as soon as it's possible. Cassie, do you have any advice for other family members supporting someone who's going through dialysis?
To listen to them, to be there. I do remember a time when, oh my God, I'm about to cry. um, there was a time that I wasn't going to the dialysis center, and it was a time I went up there and he just cried. And he said, I didn't think you would want to see me like this. And I'm like, I just didn't have the time. I'm running around. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, and I had a opportunity to go up there. So just if you can visit them at least one time, it would make them feel great.
I love that. That quality time is so special, and you're showing this person how much you love them and care about them and want to support them.
Yes.
It's very sweet. Glenn, do you have any advice for anyone who's going through dialysis or about to face dialysis?
My thing is just stay strong. I know it could be hard. I know it can be. I would never tell nobody and lie to nobody say it's easy. I would never do that. But you just gotta stay strong. And if you got family to support you, that's the biggest thing ever. That's like the greatest feeling ever. Well, I could jump on my phone, get in the group chat with my brothers and sisters, or text my wife, or call my wife, or talk to any family member. Just don't let it hold you back. Try your hardest to push. I know it's not gonna be easy. Like I say, you had your days. I didn't get rushed out of dialysis before in the ambulance.
Oh,
Because
wow.
my immune system is real weak, and if somebody around me with a cold, I take it bad. And I just happened to be around somebody with a cold, and I went to dialysis, and it didn't go right. I was like, I almost passed out in there. They had to rush the ambulance to get me. Like I said, just take care of yourself the best way you can. Like right now, my numbers are great. If it wasn't for me being on dialysis, my numbers are great. Like we get a report card, you can say every month. I try to take care of myself the best I can. And a long time ago, I had weight loss surgery, but I didn't continue with the other part. And beginning of next month, November 5th, I'm going to have the other part of my weight loss surgery. Just try your hardest just to do right, if you can. And try to teach others. Let them know. Like I tell my kids, stay on top of your teeth. You see this scar going down my chest? That's for me not taking care of my teeth. I tell friends, family, anybody that want to listen, I'm gonna tell you. I'm not ashamed of it. It is what it is. And I just want to be somebody that could teach somebody. I don't mind talking to people now at this point. At first, I used to didn't want to because, like I say, didn't want the pity party. But
Right.
once people see me and see how I talk and just see how I act, they'll see this dude is kind of strong. And like my wife say, I know it's not a good thing to do, but I know how to hide stuff. If I'm not feeling right, I don't want her to see me not feeling right because I don't want her to be worried about me. I don't like people worrying about me. That's the bad part of me. I try to work on that because you need to let people know if you're not feeling well.
You just hit a bunch of great points that relying on your family and friends for emotional support, letting them know how you're doing, keeping those relationships alive, and talking to people about it so that they can possibly prevent the same sorts of things for themselves, and taking care of your health, like being on top of your numbers and doing what you need to do to keep your body healthy. So that's great advice.
Because it's like I don't take a lot of medications. I just take 3 pills. One because I have weird blood pressure. Instead of going high, mine goes low.
Mm.
It goes real low sometimes. And dialysis doesn't help. It make it go even lower when I'm doing dialysis. But you know, and that's what makes me sometimes feel a little drained sometimes because my blood pressure get low. And I take a pill to help me sleep because I don't sleep at night. That's why I used to drive trucks at night because I'm like I don't sleep at night. Might as well drive. So now it's like trying to, I'm so used to it, it's hard for me to sleep at night. And then another pill I take is a binder. It's like a pill you take every time you eat. But other than that, and a vitamin, I take vitamin. Like, don't think like you finna be a bunch of medications and all this and that. As long as you do right, even though you got a bad kidney, okay, accept that. But now it's time to accept that you gotta take care of yourself now. Don't sit back and just be soaking and I don't want to do nothing with myself, and because you make yourself worse by just sitting around and don't want to do nothing and feeling sorry for yourself. Don't feel sorry for yourself. Don't, because that's the worst you could do, I think, because that'll make things worse than me. Just like keep your spirit up, pray, believe in that man upstairs, because he gonna get you there. Just as long as you got that moral support. Like I guess some people don't have the family support. Some people out here on their own with it. But at the same time, you got stuff like this, podcasts and stuff. You can listen to people's story. Because honestly, you know what I did one time? My wife found it for me. It was a YouTube of two ladies. I still remember it to this day that did the transplant. Because I was worried about how it's going to be with the transplant. Those ladies was real encouraging. Like, they walked out the hospital fine after they got their transplant. They showed further down the line they was living their life.
Mhm.
There was one guy I seen went skydiving. So it's like, it's a great feeling, I bet, when you get it. And I just can't wait to get that feeling. But at the same time, don't be down on yourself. Just handle it. Do what you got to do. Just keep yourself alive.
I think you're right. Sharing your story for other people to see can be so encouraging and give them the power to know I can do this too. You're encouraging people to move forward with something that might be a little scary. And I think that's what you're doing by sharing your story here and by sharing every step of the process on your YouTube. So thank you so much, Glenn and Cassie, for sharing your story with us. And if you're considering living donation or want to know more about being listed for a transplant, learn more about the process by visiting our website at nkfi.org. A link to the Motley's YouTube channel will be in the show notes. I'm Sarah Jane Castro, and this is The Journey Continues. Prevention is a key part of our mission at NKFI. That's why at the end of each episode, we offer a health or nutrition tip.
Here's today's nutrition tip about fluid and hydration. Drinking enough water every day has a big impact on your health. It can prevent dehydration, help with maintaining your body temperature, allow for regular bowel movements, and help to prevent kidney stones. Water and proper hydration are necessary to lubricate and cushion your joints, protect your spinal cord and other sensitive body tissues, and help to rid your body of waste through urine, perspiration, and bowel movements. A common question is, how much water should I drink in a day? That answer varies by person and health condition and is best answered by your healthcare provider. But in general, you want to make sure you are drinking enough water to produce urine that is a light color. Darker urine may indicate that you are not drinking enough. While water is the drink of choice, other beverages such as tea, coffee, and milk can also keep you hydrated. Don't forget that some of the foods we eat have a higher water content and can help you meet your fluid needs. These foods include soup, fruits, and vegetables. Wondering how you can drink more water in a day? Try a few of these tips. Carry a water bottle with you and refill it throughout the day. Freeze water in a freezer-safe water bottle. Take one with you and then it'll thaw and you have water all day long. Choose water over sugary drinks. Opt for water when you're eating out. Serve water during meals and add a wedge of lime or lemon to your water to enhance the flavor of water and help you drink more water than you're used to. With today's nutrition tip, I'm Melissa Prest, a registered dietitian nutritionist.